The last time we reviewed a Lotus, we did the Evora GT. It was 3 years ago.
Dang, that was one of the first videos I've ever done. I look so young.
You did look young. You were so good in it that we decided that we would get the Lotus Emira. Now, this is the last fully combustion engine Lotus that is coming off the production line. This is a special car, and we are gonna get in it and talk about it.
That's right.
This is the last pure combustion engine car from the tiny little British sports car maker, and I cannot wait to get in the driver's seat. So, since we did this thing together before, Danger's gonna join in on the fun. So let's talk about how it looks for just a second. Personally, I think this is such a head turner of a car. You've got mid-engine placement, so your engine is right here. It has really pretty lines on it. It's not too much, it's not too little. It's got this kind of classic sports car shape. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I love this paint color. Now, last time with the Evora GT, Mike thought that the wheelbase looked a little bit short to him, but let's see if he's changed his mind about that.
And I definitely have. I think this looks great. The stance on it looks good. It's low, it's wide, it looks sporty. It definitely craves attention. And I don't know what I was thinking with the Evora GT, because looking at it in retrospect, that still looked good too. But this looks a little bit better.
You know who else craves attention?
My shirt.
This car is compared so much to the Porsche 718 Cayman, and I'm gonna tell you that just on looks alone, I probably would go for the Emira. You see that Cayman every day. This you don't. If you are an attention seeker, then this is your no-brain choice. When it comes to the interior, Lotus completely has knocked this out of the park. Everything is so modern in here. It's really very cool. There's a 10.25-inch touchscreen right here, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You get wireless charging. You even get this little thing here that will clearly launch a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, I think the interior of the Emira looks good. There are soft touch points everywhere. The dash looks good. I like the contrasting colors. I only wish that it was a little bit wider for someone as big as me, kind of to stretch out. I am in the passenger seat, so I know me and Lynn would be kind of bumping elbows when she's shifting because I got all these muscles. But
me too.
Just squish, squish. But seating is comfortable. I appreciate how much room I have, and the seat's highly adjustable. Headspace is good for me. I'm 6'4", and my head isn't grazing the headliner, which is good. And I have some decent knee room in this sports car. I'm not squished up with my knees against my chest. So as a tall passenger, I think this looks great and it's comfortable for me.
I am feeling a little squished and it's a little snug. I'm just kidding. I like it. There are also cup holders, storage behind the seat or in the boot, which is big enough for a set of golf clubs. But this car is set up so it could potentially work as a daily driver as well as a sports car. However, I know I just said that I would recommend the Emira. I'm of the opinion that if you're looking for a daily driver that sort of does everything, this might not be it. It's more mechanical and a visceral experience, which, hey, that is exactly what you want in a sports car, but it may not be something that you are keen to drive every single day. Equipped with this V6 is a 6-speed manual transmission right here. And you guys, this is something so cool. You can actually see the linkage down here. Look at this thing. I think that is such an awesome feature. There are two engine options here. The Toyota-derived 3.5-liter turbocharged V6, which powered the Evora GT. There's also an AMG-sourced 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. Both of those powertrains are gonna make 400 horsepower. This one, I know he's doing something behind me. I can feel him like I have eyes in the back of my head, but I'm gonna keep going. So the V6, 420 Newton meters of torque.
Nice.
Which translates to 310 pound-feet of torque. Are we ready to just drive this thing yet?
Let's go.
Okay. first things first, because of this mid-engine placement, we basically have this noise right behind our heads. I have to tell you, I love that whirring sound. Can you hear that? It's like, woo. I think it's super cool.
Yeah, it definitely gives you like a show while you're driving this, which is important because if you're in a sports car, you want the whole experience from the feel to the sounds. It's hitting a lot of your senses.
The other thing about this engine is I feel like it just is so hungry.
Yeah, this is a definitely playful engine. When you're driving it at lower speeds, it's kind of poking you in the back in a good way, saying, hey, you want to go a little bit faster? Let's have a little bit of fun. And I will reward you with it, with the sound that comes out the back of this thing.
Something not so terrific is that it redlines at 6,500 RPM because, well, it's a Toyota-derived engine. So you have to be aware of how far you're revving it. But the best part about driving this, you feel like you're going faster than you actually are, and that is a terrific sensation for a sports car. Something I love in this car is the steering. This is hydraulic and electronically assisted steering, so you do get some feel in it, but it's so super responsive. This thing, I mean, turn-in is so quick. This is such a light car. It really just wants to sort of put you in that position, and this steering just gets you there so fast.
You feel involved with driving this car. It's not doing all the work for you. You have to work to have some fun, which is great because that's how a real sports car should feel like.
Driving in the canyons is where the Emira shines. The chassis is lightweight and tuned so well. The car moves impeccably. It's got a wild edge to it, but it's easy to control with the steering. That wide rear helps keep you nailed to the road. It's just exciting rear-wheel driving fun. It's a true sports car, and I think here in the canyon, it absolutely shows off. When it comes to the transmission, yes, you do have a 6-speed manual, and I always appreciate that. But a couple of things about it that are maybe just not kind of hitting quite well with me. The clutch, the pedal, the release is so long that I really do have to extend my foot quite a bit, so it feels like I'm doing kind of a ballet move. The other thing is, and I don't know if you experienced this either, but either this is a brand new mechanism here, but it feels really tough to get into gear. Like this gearbox 100% makes you work for it.
Yeah, definitely.
It is. It's like you have to show it who's boss.
Yeah, going into first gear is almost like arm wrestling Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's like, God, do it!
I do love that the shifter is metal, such a great Lotus signature. You can also get a 6-speed automatic with paddles. I don't have it here, so I can't comment on that one. I am also hopefully going to get the AMG 4-banger next and let you know because that gets an AMG dual clutch.
Yeah, going fast is always fun, but it's always better knowing that you can come to a nice stop quickly, especially in this thing if you're pushing it to the limit. And I gotta say, these brakes will do just that. They're a little bit grabby on the top of the pedal, and that can be a good or bad thing depending on how you're driving it, but that is definitely something to get used to.
Yeah, I think if you're pulling out of your driveway, you could easily like surprise yourself.
Yeah, you'll get a couple instances where you're kind of jerking forward or back. As far as the ride quality, this suspension, yeah, it's a bit bumpy, and this is the sport suspension. It's fixed, it's not adaptive, and even with the touring suspension, it'll still feel a little bit aggressive. So you can get it as a touring, like you said. You can get it with the sport suspension. We have the sport suspension. I would be curious to see if, as a daily driver, if you got this thing, if that touring version of the fixed suspension would be any more forgiving. Yeah, and you have drive modes. You can select from sport, tour, and track, and that adjusts your powertrain, exhaust, and stability behaviors, but there is no suspension setting. Your damping does not change. Yeah. So you are in that position that you're in, no matter what you're feeling on the road. I would feel this after a long day of driving for sure. Yeah, but while you're in it, you can have a little fun. Oh. We're also driving on a terrible road. It's so bad, but you know, we're testing, vehicle testing. Tell me, what do you think about the visibility out of this thing? Honestly, visibility over both of my shoulders is good. Straight back, you only have a little bit of glass real estate to work with, but because you're sitting so low, you can see what's behind you. And straight forward, because of that low slung hood, it looks great. It's almost like a closed-in go-kart. Oh yeah.
Pricing on the Emira starts at $107,750. That's a lot, especially when you consider that the Porsche Cayman, which is also mid-engine and a very fun German-engineered sports car, starts at around 73, 74 grand. Do you think it's worth it?
Yeah, you see the 718 Caymans everywhere. The biggest difference is you can customize that 718 to your heart's desire. This is kind of more of a package deal. You don't get to customize as much. Honestly, this, as it comes and as you can spec it online, you can make it look pretty cool, and you won't see a lot of them around because you don't see a lot of these around.
Lotus is just not like a huge car company, so it may not even be top of mind for a lot of people.
Yeah, but trust me when I say this, when we're driving this around, people are driving their cars by real slow while we're taking B-roll just to see what this is, because it looks pretty damn cool.
100%. If you're looking for something comparable, then yes, the aforementioned 718 Cayman is your best and closest competition. But I could even make an argument for the now mid-engine and much more affordable Chevrolet Corvette C8. Lotus, Lotus, Lotus. You've made so many improvements on this car. The Emira shines in so many different ways. Dynamically, the driving feels great.
And the interior is finally modernized. Thank you.
Look, if you are fortunate enough to be in the market for a sports car and mid-engine is your jam, check out the Lotus Emira. Bam! It's so windy. Would be like paste.
Arlene, you ready? Donuts?
Oh, God. Oh. I'm already exhausted. Donuts. I mean, I'll eat some donuts.
Yeah, I am actually kind of hungry.